What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some interesting news. As we know, former Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American Heavyweight World Champion, superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, well, he took Tyson Fury, undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, his rival, who they fought twice, and they were contractually obligated to fight a third time. Well, Tyson Fury, he was trying to maneuver as best as possible around fighting Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match, so he can stage what would be considered the biggest fight in United Kingdom, UK history, between himself and fellow countryman, two-time unified heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua. Now, we know the history of British boxing. We know that prior to Lennox Lewis becoming undisputed, when he defeated Evander Holyfield, three-time undisputed world champion, legendary Hall of Famer, Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield fought, and when he defeated Evander Holyfield in the rematch, because in the first fight, Evander Holyfield clearly lost to Lennox Lewis, but the judges saw it a draw. So they fought immediately in the rematch, in which Lennox Lewis got a unanimous decision victory over Evander Holyfield, rightfully so, and became the undisputed heavyweight world champion. But the problem is, Lennox Lewis represented three different countries. He represented the United Kingdom, he represented Canada, and he represented Jamaica. So he was born in the UK, he was raised in Canada, but his roots are from Jamaica. So he represented three different places, okay? With that said, prior to Lennox Lewis even representing UK in a portion, it was 100 years since the last time they had an undisputed champion, heavyweight champion. 100 years, okay? So with that said, we saw Lennox Lewis, he took on Frank Bruno, who was a British superstar heavyweight champion. And Frank Bruno was pushing a narrative that Lennox Lewis was not a British boxer, okay, because he represented three places. He wasn't a pure British boxer. And he ended up succumbing to Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis stopped him in that fight. But we know that the UK don't solely, hold Lennox Lewis in high regards as representing the UK. So essentially, it's still 100 years since they had a pure, raised, born and bred British heavyweight undisputed champion. And so with that said, this fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua is a win-win for United Kingdom boxing. Why? Because they're both born and bred from the UK. So whomever ever wins is going to be the first time in essentially over 100 years since we had an undisputed British heavyweight champion that was born, bred, and raised in the UK, not like Lennox Lewis, okay? So with that said, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom CEO and promoter, he wants to push this narrative. Why? Because his fighter is Anthony Joshua, but win, lose, or draw, he has delivered to the United Kingdom an undisputed heavyweight champion. You understand? So the same goes for Queensberry Promotions CEO and promoter Frank Warren. They want to go down in history. Their legacy will be cemented as well if they are able to deliver an undisputed heavyweight champion. Frank Warren, he co-promotes Tyson Fury. So win, lose, or draw for his fighter, as long as they created the fight, they made it happen, they created the event, they brought the two worlds together, and guess what? Win, lose, or draw, their legacy goes down in history as being able to deliver an undisputed heavyweight British champion. And that's what they're pushing for, okay? So with that said, Deontay Wilder losing to Tyson Fury played in their favor. Now, they have obviously a roadblock as Tyson Fury doesn't have a license in the UK, and UKAD, United Kingdom Anti-Doping Agency, were looking to launch an investigation into the situation between Tyson Fury and Martin Carefoot. That's a whole different conversation, okay? So with that said, they're looking to push for this fight to take place. And so they're trying to do whatever they can possible to go around Deontay Wilder's trilogy that Tyson Fury is contractually obligated to fulfill. Now, we know that they have all types of conflicting reports. They're saying that Deontay Wilder wasn't compliant. He didn't inform them properly. He didn't take the proper steps to let them know he wanted the trilogy match. He let the time expire, so on and such. Okay, there's a lot of reasons they're saying that the trilogy match is not taking place. They also at one point in time stated that Tyson Fury could not stay inactive for that long period of time and wait for Deontay Wilder and wait for fans to be in attendance, that Tyson Fury needed to stay active physically and mentally. And they targeted December 5th, and December 5th fell through because Deontay Wilder then took them to mediation. Now he's taking them to arbitration, and now we have legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, who co-promotes Tyson Fury in the U.S., United States. He's saying that we're waiting for the judge to rule, and we're expecting a ruling to come in May. So just like I told you guys, the situation with Deontay Wilder, he was holding up this fight, the announcement with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, because they do not know the outcome of the arbitration. They don't know what the judge is going to rule in. So they're dragging their feet, essentially, because they don't know. Just like Tyson Fury, he announced June 10th of 2020 that he and Anthony Joshua came to an agreement to fight 2 times in 2021. That was 11 months ago. And we had 3 months ago, Eddie Hearn continuously tell you every 2 weeks that we're going to get an announcement. And we've yet to get an announcement. We had 3 weeks ago now that Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, and Bob Arum, they all stated that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, well, they all signed the contracts and they're just looking for a venue now and an investment group to, support it financially. Well, they told you in 2 weeks you're going to get an announcement. You've yet to get an announcement. The reason why is because they don't know what's going to take place. And as I told you guys, they continue to change the date. The target date for this fight, the first fight, was June, okay? Now they moved it from June to July. Why did they move it from June to July? Because if they're expecting the ruling to come down in May, well, then how could they have a fight in June? No, they need to push it back to July, okay? Because they don't know what's going to take place. That's too close. If the arbitration and the ruling comes down in May, we don't know when in May. Let's say it's the last week in May. How could you have a fight in June? You can't. That's why the date that they told you for the last 3 months was they were targeting a date in June. Now they moved that date from June to July. And it will move again, okay? Reason being is because Deontay Wilder obviously has a leg to stand on. He has a case. So that means that, they're stating that, Deontay Wilder could be paid handsomely in, repaid handsomely in damages. But why would he be repaid if he was in the wrong? If he didn't have a case and he didn't have a leg to stand on, what would he be repaid for? He's being repaid because they tried to maneuver around him. And just like you see Max Kellerman, colorful boxing analyst on ESPN, he's stating that, well, Deontay Wilder is going to get paid step-aside money. Step aside for what? What would he be stepping aside from if he didn't have a leg to stand on, if he didn't have a case, okay? You only pay him step-aside money because he's well in his right to prevent the fight from taking place, and he's going to be owed what he's due, and that's the trilogy match that he's contractually obligated to Tyson Fury, that is, to fulfill with Deontay Wilder. They agreed to this. That's why you see Tyson Fury. He stated that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and you may see me fight Deontay Wilder in the trilogy after all, okay? Why? Because they don't know the ruling. They don't know what the judge is going to rule. And again, Deontay Wilder has 1 loss on his resume, that at the hands of Tyson Fury in that rematch. Well, he's supposed to give him a trilogy match. He was the champion for 5 years. He successfully defended it 10 times, okay? He lost it 1 time. He's looking to get the immediate rematch, as he should, okay? And he was contractually obligated to. It's one thing if they didn't agree to a trilogy match and he's just looking to seek a rematch to regain his title, but that's not the case. Here we have the case of he has a contract signed from Tyson Fury that Tyson Fury is supposed to fulfill his trilogy obligation. And that's what Deontay Wilder is looking to have take place. That's the reason why they continue to give you roadblocks. Dillian White should fight Deontay Wilder. You heard the WBC President Mauricio Suleiman. He came out. He stated that Deontay Wilder needs to, he should fight Dillian White in the WBC Eliminator, which the winner would be the mandatory challenger for the winner of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, because they understand the risk versus the reward. If they get in the ring with Deontay Wilder, that being Tyson Fury and Team Fury, and they don't know the outcome, because at the end of the day, you can say all you want that Tyson Fury can outbox Deontay Wilder. Well, Deontay Wilder has the ultimate equalizer, okay? He has the highest punch and knockout ratio in the history of the sport of boxing. He's knocked down or knocked out every opponent he's ever faced, including knocking Tyson Fury down twice, which the last knockdown should have or could have been called a knockout, could have been waved off. So they understand what they're up against, and they understand what could take place and what they stand to lose if Tyson Fury was to lose, because now you're dealing with a 50-50 situation with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, because Deontay Wilder is from the States. So if he wins, it's going back to the States. If Tyson Fury wins, if Anthony Joshua wins, then it'll go back to the UK. But you're dealing with a 50-50 situation. When you're dealing with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, it's 100% the undisputed champion is coming back to the UK, and that's what they don't want to lose. So now Bob Arum is saying we're expecting a ruling in May. We are not even in April, and they're waiting all the way to May. So that's the reason I told you guys you will not get an announcement. The fight is being held up because of Deontay Wilder, and here the proof is in the pudding. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon and get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Wow.